What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Dynasty Mafia podcast. This is our draft special 2021. Getting ready for it tomorrow. We got round one coming for you. There's a lot to talk about, guys. There's a lot to talk about. Antonio, Eric, and Keenan with you. What's going on tonight, fellas? Wednesday night, August 28th.
Not much, man. Not much.
What's ready for the NFL draft. Let's go.
Yeah. It's my favorite non-sporting event, like with the games actually being played, like without the games being played, it's like my favorite sporting event of the year. So I'm really excited, especially about the first round.
Yeah, this is the first time in a long time, us as Bills fans, that we're not dealing with the Bills picking in like the top 15. So I don't even care. Like, I'm not even thinking about that. It's kind of crazy to say.
Antonio, are you going to even make it to the pick 30 when the Bills are picking? 11:50 midnight.
Yeah, traditionally it's like midnight. No, man, I'm gonna be passed out. I'm gonna have to record something. I'm gonna set an alarm. I don't even know, but I'm hoping to at least catch the top 10.
I mean, it's getting ridiculous. You would think they would start like at 7:00 to get it done before 11.
I mean, that's the hope. What is it, like 8:30?
8. By the time 8:30, yeah. Yeah. By the time the first pick is announced, which we've known for 3 years what this pick was going to be, it's going to be 8:30.
It's going to be 8:30. Hey, we got Alex Coloz in the building. What's up?
Hello, Alex.
Eric, tell me who the 49ers are picking.
Trey Lance.
Oh, man, you're wrong.
Jeez. He's right. He's right. I told him.
If I'm wrong, Keenan agrees with me. Who do you got?
Keenan, why don't you tell him this tweet you just found?
Well, I'm scrolling through Twitter while Anthony, I don't know what the hell he's doing for the last half hour, but Dale Arnold, he is a Boston sports radio host, tweeted about at 7:28, so a couple hours ago almost, that the Patriots are working on a deal for Jimmy G and a new contract for Jimmy G that would lead him to become the next quarterback of the New England Patriots. The same source who's telling Mr. Arnold about this is the same source that told him that Tom Brady was leaving the Patriots for the Bucs. So we got some action here a little more than 24 hours before the draft.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Do you think, like, does that take them? If they trade for Jimmy G, they're not going for a quarterback, right?
So let me just reiterate kind of how that came off. So it sounds like a Boston reporter, the same one who has a source, and it's the same source that provided that Tom Brady was going to Tampa Bay.
Yeah. And
this source is saying that the Patriots are working on a contract extension for Jimmy Garoppolo, who is currently the San Francisco 49ers quarterback.
He's under contract. So, like, what?
Right.
I don't know. I don't understand what he's saying, but maybe it's something to do with the cap. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's been something that's been rumored. Oh man, that's going to be, if that happens, that's going to be crazy because we've got Miami. At least us AFC East people, we have the Jets probably getting a new quarterback, as we can all presume. We'll talk about that in a minute. The Dolphins, who potentially have their quarterback or could be getting another one or adding some type of firepower somehow. And then you have the Patriots, who could have somebody fall into their lap via draft.
Looking at it, so Jimmy G is under contract this year and next year. So maybe they're let's see, 26 mil and 27 mil. So maybe they're working out, a couple extra years, maybe spreading that out. Maybe something like that.
As a Bills fan, I'm truly happy. I hope this gets done.
I'm all right with it.
I don't want Justin Fields in Patriots uniform.
Yeah, I don't want any rookie, and it would be interesting. I mean, you're going to bring somebody that's familiar with that system if Garoppolo does get moved over to New England. I don't want to speculate too much on that tweet, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting, that source. So we'll find out if Jimmy Garoppolo does get moved over to New England. Speaking of trades, though, Teddy Bridgewater got moved over to the Denver Broncos for a 6th-round pick from the Carolina Panthers. Does this keep them in the market for a quarterback there, Keenan? They're picking at number 8.
Yes, I think they take Justin Fields if he drops. I know you have him going 3. not to give any spoilers out, but I think if Fields is there at 9, they take him, and they have Bridgewater start for a year, and maybe throw in Fields in there towards the end of the year.
Man, so you have a quarterback.
Do we consider Bridgewater a running quarterback or a pocket quarterback?
I think he's one of those pocket quarterbacks that doesn't want to run, but if he needs to, he can.
And that's what Fields would be considered.
That's
what you would want Fields to develop into a pocket quarterback that can run.
I think Drew Lock has definitely shown he doesn't have that ability, at least as much as Bridgewater, at least as much as Fields, or at least as much as Lance, even if Trey Lance is to possibly be there. I mean, you really only have the three that we're talking about to go first, and Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and potentially Mac Jones. McCorkle Jones, which I recently found out is his first name. I don't know if you guys knew that. Michael McCorkle Jones. That's his name. So he's actually Mike Jones.
Nice. I didn't know that now.
I don't blame him. So, let's dive right into this top 10, Eric. So number 1, I mean, we obviously don't want to go too far. We know it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. How about we shift it right over to the Jets? So who do you think the Jets are going to be taking?
I think absolutely it's going to be Zach Wilson. And even the report said before that, they were worried about the shoulder injury, but, he looked great. And now they're comfortable with him. When I watched him on film, he looks awesome. I'm really excited to see what he can do in the NFL. I think he's right up there. I don't even want to say it.
You've been way too obsessed with this guy. Yeah,
I like him a lot. I like him a lot. I'm putting him right up there with Lawrence. Like this dude, the way he can throw the ball, it just looks beautiful. He gets the ball out so quick. He can read defenses good. He's so good. And I think right there with Lawrence, he's one of the most NFL ready quarterbacks coming out of this class. And I think he's going to contribute to your fantasy teams instantly. And he's going to be an instant starter in this league.
So let me ask you this.
The only problem, I don't want to go too crazy. He's going to be on the Jets. So he's going to be an instant starter, but he's not going to be, lighting it up right away. Hopefully they get some more weapons for him there. But
that's my problem with when it comes to fantasy is Sam Darnold didn't succeed there, and Sam Darnold was a great prospect coming out of college, and they didn't give him any help. Hopefully this new coaching regime can change that. I mean, right now that whole line needs to get fixed, in my opinion. They got no running game. Who's their running back? And I think rookie quarterbacks would benefit from a good running game. And also you got Corey Davis at wide receiver 1, and you got Mims. Is he going to become an NFL talent? We don't know. Their tight end situation, I know we at last year we thought they were set on tight end, but after last year, I'm not very happy with the tight end situation either. So do I like Zach Wilson as a prospect? Sure. Is he going to the Jets? Most likely, but I don't want anything to do with him fantasy-wise.
Antonio, I want to know, you were like shaking your head like you don't think that the Jets are taking him.
They're taking him.
There's a slim part of me that really thinks Justin Fields might be going to the Jets. I understand the books. I understand a lot of the media. He's like 1,200 to 1, like the plus, like minus 1,200 right now. Like I understand that, but look at all of the shade and all of the publicity that like the 49ers are giving to Mac Jones. Don't you think that if I'm Robert Saleh, maybe I'm taking another look at Mac Jones if, my predecessors are all telling me, wow, all this is coming out for that. I really think Justin Fields would be the answer for the 49ers, and I think they might be trying to just convince the Jets to go a different route and look into someone like a Zach Wilson.
I hope the Jets take Justin Fields.
He's my second quarterback, so I just don't understand it. He's been fantastic at Ohio State. He sets records at Ohio State. He's Big Ten Player of the Year twice. He's national championships, come on. I just don't understand how Zach Wilson comes in and oversteps that. He's a natural passer. I give you that. Zach Wilson has a great arm. He can put the ball wherever he wants to. He's got the most Mahomes-like talent.
And that's what I'm going to say. That's the difference for me. Like when you're watching Fields, sure, he improved obviously from 2019 to 2020. In 2019, it was like his first read wasn't there. He took off running. This year, it was almost like the opposite. He looked at all his reads, but if no one was open, it was like he just threw the ball away, and he wasn't running like he did the year before. But and on top of that, he doesn't read defenses quick enough. He doesn't process information quick enough. I just think that's going to hold him back at the next level. And when I'm watching Zach Wilson play, like you said, he has that Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers-esque in him, and he can make those plays. What he can do, he can just chuck a ball 50 yards like it's nothing on the run, and it'll be a dime.
Are you worried about his competition level that he faced in college?
No, honestly, I don't think that's an issue anymore. I really don't think that's an issue anymore.
I just want to throw a stat out there if you guys, don't mind. Against 10-win teams, he's 0-5, 1 touchdown, 7 interceptions in college.
Yeah, Coastal Carolina was the only ranked team he faced last year, and they lost. I understand that. I get it. But you also got to see the talent that he's got around him at BYU too. So he's definitely brought everybody at a talent level. He's raised them up, and that's what you want your next franchise quarterback to do, is he's going to elevate the skill of everybody around him. And that's, I think, what Zach Wilson can provide. I'm not too worried that it was BYU. I mean, we saw Jordan Love get a lot of credit, and he was getting a lot of hype coming through, and, he might be the next Aaron Rodgers successor. We'll see. But no, I think I'm not too worried about that. Same thing with Fields. I mean, he dominated everybody. And we're not talking about that just as much as we're not talking about Zach Wilson didn't perform the best against the best. So let's move on to the 49ers. Seeing as how I just put Justin Fields to the Jets, Eric, talk us again who you got the 49ers taking at 3.
I will say I do think it is like a 50-50, 60-40. It's either going to be Lance or Mac Jones. I only think the whole Mac Jones just because all the rumors and everything. And I do think he is a safe pick, good for that system. And I think Shanahan could get the most out of him, compared to any other coach in the league, really, in that system. But I think they're going Trey Lance. I mean, this kid, he can play. He's got a little bit of experience. There's not a lot of film on him, but the film he had, it was good. He's a big guy. He's got a strong arm. He's got a great knowledge for the game. There was reports saying that his coaches were letting him make calls, and for the little experience that he had, that doesn't happen often. And I think him compared to Jones, like what if Lance hits, this offense is going to be great for the next decade.
So let me ask you when are you expecting Lance to hit? I mean, right now he's only 20 years old, which is great, but we also thought that was a great thing for Sam Darnold, and look where he is.
True, but I think they're a very, very different situation. If you look at what Lance would be going to in 49ers with Shanahan as his coach, he's got George Kittle, he's got Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and then what Sam Darnold had. Oh wow, I can't think of his name for some reason. Todd Bowles drafted him his first year, and then he had Adam Gase, and he had absolutely nothing around him. So I mean, I think Lance has a much better chance to develop compared to what Sam Darnold had when he was drafted.
I think what I have to believe and what's come out a bit is that San Francisco traded for that pick at 3, loving Mac Jones. And then as they slowly realized they might like more than just Mac Jones. And that's where I truly think they might be at a standstill with who they want to go with. But like you just said, that he can develop Lance, Kyle Shanahan, the guy's fantastic when it comes to being an offensive-minded coach. Like I was looking at the quarterbacks that he's had under Shanahan. Do you remember Matt Chubb in 2009 when he led the league in passing yards? Kyle Shanahan was the coach, was the offensive coordinator. Kyle Shanahan, Matt Schaub.
Oh, Matt Schaub. I thought you said Matt Chubb. I'm like, who the hell?
I thought you said the same thing too. I was like, who's he talking about?
No, man. I know he's He's got the hair like you, match up. So
he just retired. R.I.P.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. 2012, when RG3 got drafted, when he was the offensive coordinator and his dad, Mike Shanahan, was there, they did not want RG3 at all. They were not a fan of the mobile quarterback. What did they do? They turned him into one of the best rookie year performances that we've seen for fantasy in a long time. And then Kirk Cousins was able to come in and do his thing. He wasn't with Shanahan at the time, but they were able to mobilize a mobile quarterback. Now you go to 2014 when he was in Cleveland. Brian Hoyer, best season of his career, highest yards per attempt. 2016, Matt Ryan, the offensive coordinator. What did he do? Oh, I don't know. Just won the Super Bowl, went to the Super Bowl, won the MVP, had his best season of his career. Now you go to San Francisco. Do you know who has the highest yards per attempt for a San Francisco quarterback? It's not Jimmy Garoppolo. It's Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins, yeah.
Nick Mullins played in 2018 and in 2020. He was 5th in the league in 2018 in yards per attempt. And Jimmy Garoppolo took him to a Super Bowl in 2019. Kyle Shanahan's going to get whatever. I trust Kyle Shanahan. There aren't many coaches I can say that about in the NFL, but I just trust that whoever he pick, he's going to develop and he's going to do the right thing with them. Eric, you think it's Lance? Keenan, who do you think it's going to be?
I've been flipping a coin between these two guys, Jones and Lance, for I don't know, a couple months now. And if this Jimmy G rumor is true that he's going to New England, I truly think it's Mac Jones, just because he's the most NFL ready prospect, supposedly, according to the scouts. And I think Lance, even though he played in a pro style offense under center at NDSYU, North Dakota State University, I don't think he's ready to play week 1, just because he only had that 1 year. He was a sophomore. We redshirted his first season. Had a great season his redshirt year or sophomore year, whatever. He threw 28 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 67 passing percentage, completion percentage, which was a great year for a first-time quarterback.
And 14 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, and I just think it's going to be Jones in the end. I think if it was Lance, I think the reason Jimmy G hasn't been traded was because they fell in love with Lance and Jones, and now they made up their mind. They're going to move on from Jimmy G, and Mac Jones is going to be the starter week 1. Where if it was Lance, I think they keep Jimmy G for a year and then move on with him next year.
So let me just bring up that tweet that you referenced earlier. So it was Dan Arnold, right, from the Boston Sports.
Yeah,
so he was the Boston reporter, right? New England.
Yeah,
so he's claiming that his source, who provided him that Tom Brady was going to New England, also told him that New England the Buccaneers. He's also claiming New England is currently working on a contract extension with Jimmy Garoppolo, as in that there's rumors that he's about to be traded. So with that being said, Keenan, you talking about Trey Lance and you saying that he's going to come in and be able to come and instantly produce. Do you not worry at all with North Dakota State where you have?
No, I said Mac Jones. Mac Jones was going to instantly produce.
Eric was talking about Trey Lance. I'm sorry. Yes, Mac Jones instantly produces what I want. But Eric, with Trey Lance, don't you worry that Carson Wentz got a championship, and now we see what he's doing. He's about to be on his second contract. Couldn't even get through his rookie one. You saw Easton Stick come in and win a championship at North Dakota State after Carson Wentz. Their quarterback before Carson Wentz won a championship. Trey Lance didn't get that. Now, at the same point,
well, I said Zach Wilson would instantly produce.
No, I know, but I'm saying going to San Francisco, he'll have to sit back, and now we're talking about potentially.
So
if Trey Lance had to get thrown in the fire, do you still believe that he could do that even by week 8 of this season?
Can I say something? I think one thing. This 49ers roster is a Super Bowl. When it's healthy, is a Super Bowl contender on offense and defense. They have one of the best defenses. They have the best tight end. They have a great running game. They have 20 running backs. They have one of the best young wide receiving cores in the NFL. If they're going to trade Jimmy G, there's no way Lance is the pick. Just in my opinion, I just don't think Lance.
I was gonna jump in and agree. I was gonna jump in and agree with you. And I think maybe there is some truth to that. And Denver got wind of it, and that's why they traded for and that's why they went after Teddy B, because maybe he'd be a better bridge quarterback for Lance, obviously compared to Locke. I'm not gonna lie, that makes sense. But I just think personally, if you want to shoot for the moon, and you want to have a franchise quarterback for the next decade, I just think it's Lance.
Trey Lance would be a perfect pick for the Jets. You're not,
and I'm not saying Lance is like a generational guy. I'm just saying I think Shanahan definitely could develop him, and I think he could be really good in that system.
3 years from now, Lance can be the new Josh Allen.
I was just about to say that he's got that extra gear like Josh Allen does. You get in the red zone. Who had some of the best red zone efficiency? Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Not the best passers in the league, but red zone efficiency. You get him in the 20, you're getting a touchdown. I think that's what Trey Lance can bring to the table, where you saw the 42 touchdowns in 16 games in 2019. So I think
Trey Lance also, his body of work, like him throwing the ball, he was 82nd in passing attempts in the country this past year. And then he ended up being having a 186 passer rating, which is fourth among quarterbacks in the nation. Yes, you're facing weaker competition playing in North Dakota State University, but it's still impressive. I mean, I think the ceiling for Lance is the moon. I think Lance has a higher ceiling than Jones, but I think Jones is just that. It's just, if they're going to trade Jimmy G, they have to take the quarterback that's most ready to play now.
To counter that, Jimmy G is not the proper bridge quarterback for Lance. I don't believe.
He might not be,
maybe they're planning to bring somebody else in. I don't know. I don't know who.
Jimmy G goes to New England for Cam.
Brian Hoyer's still around.
Oh, there you go.
Can we get a McCown?
Yeah, McCown. Did you know McCown? I don't know what team it was, but he was paid. He was paid however much money to just sit at home and be an emergency quarterback.
Yeah, it must be. Nice.
Yeah, I think it might have. Yeah, it could be Arizona. I remember it might have been the Jets. Yeah, I don't know, but anyways, you're right there. So my one last question before we move on to the Falcons, though, when it comes to Mac Jones, Shanahan's amazing at getting his wide receivers open, which is why they're a bunch of yaks. So if that's what he can bring Mac Jones to do, and you just saw Mac Jones throw 41 touchdowns last year, what if the ceiling for Mac Jones is 40 touchdowns? I mean, I really have a feeling that, and I know I've said this before, is if you give Kyle Shanahan a great quarterback, just imagine what could happen. Like if he had Aaron Rodgers.
Do you really need to trade up for Mac Jones, though?
That's my problem. That's why I think Justin Fields does not get past pick 3.
Where were they?
He's going third.
Where were they picking?
I honestly, it could be any 3. Like, it really could. I mean, but like, I just don't. I mean, I guess why put a Mac Jones smokescreen out? There's no need. You already traded up. You have the pick.
But that's what I was saying.
What's the point of a spoke
for the Jets?
But you have the third pick.
Yeah, but the Jets, it doesn't matter. The Jets can do whatever they want.
Yeah, exactly. And if you get in their head and you're the one that taught him how to get there, you don't think Salat's going to run his offense at all like Shanahan did? You really think he's going to have a totally different scheme? He's going to run it like Shanahan. I guarantee it.
That'd be
and it's not like that's how the trees fall, man. That's how the apple goes. So if that's the case, then he's like, man, I really love Mac Jones now. Well, now you've been dealing with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's the most like Mac Jones.
I guess now when you put it that way, it makes sense. But
like, what if the Jets take Mac Jones? They just get rid of Darnold just to replace him with a similar player. I mean,
that's so hard.
I don't know.
I hope they do that. That'd be great.
So hard.
I think all options are on the table. Speaking of all options on the table, number 4, Atlanta Falcons, guys.
This one
they have a lot of options they can do here, but we don't talk about trades in this mock. So, Eric, tell me what the Falcons are doing here at 4.
They're not going quarterback.
That's the thing. Do they want to develop somebody for the next 2 years? But they could, and maybe develop them. But I think with Julio, Matt Ryan, I think they go all in again. I think they take Sewell at there. I mean, they need. they need get a nice offensive lineman in there, beef him up, and I mean I think he'd be a really nice addition in there, and they'd be set at that position for the next the next decade for the next quarterback that comes in to replace him.
I think the Falcons are in a similar situation as the 49ers. They have a team that can win. Now, the Falcons aren't a Super Bowl contender like the 49ers are, but they have talent. They have a Julio Jones, who's one of the best wide receivers. He's 30 years old. He's getting an age. Calvin Ridley, who else? They have Matt Ryan, the quarterback. And his dead cap hit is $75 million, right, Eric? We talked about this the other day.
It was $70 million for this year. Yeah.
$70 million for this year. Do you draft a quarterback to sit behind Matt Ryan, to waste Julio Jones' last couple years of his prime, to waste Calvin Ridley's year, another Calvin Ridley year, or do you go all in and help this current team that you have? I think Pitts would be a perfect for this offense. Yeah, who did they trade for last year?
Hurst.
Hurst. They have Hurst, but Pitts is probably already better than Hurst. And he hasn't even.
And you could put Pitts in the slot.
Yeah,
I'll agree. I think I guess to do a little spoiler for the next pick, I firmly believe picks 4 and 5 are going to be Sewell and Pitts. I just think whoever doesn't take one is going to take the other. I just think with Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Hurst is enough there. Get somebody in there. Get somebody in there on the offensive line. You got Mike Davis in there for a year at running back, and then you roll out.
I don't think there's any way that if the Falcons are taking this pick at 4 that they're not doing either wide receiver or tight end. I don't think.
Why would you take a wide receiver though?
So you're talking about Matt Ryan's cap hit. Julio
Jones. Why would you take a quarterback? You're talking about why would you take a quarterback? Why would you take a wide receiver?
Because you need Julio's 32. There's rumors of Julio being traded. Thank you, Clint. So with that coming through, you're going to need someone else to replace him. You already got Hurst, so if you want to grab Pitts, sure, put him in the slot. Russell Gage is a good slot.
Let me say this. So you say they're going to go all in because why waste Julio's career
and Matt Ryan?
If they're going to trade Julio, what's the point? Then you might as well rebuild, right?
I don't think they're trading
Matt Ryan. It's a 2-year window that Matt
Ryan.
And
this is why I think they're going to play it safe, just like teams always do on draft day. They're going to play it safe. They're going to take the best offensive lineman in the draft. They're going to solidify that position, and they're going to go all in this year, and maybe take a running back in the second round.
We'll see how that one.
Their passing game is good. Their passing game is good. If they can upgrade their offensive line, upgrade that running game, that offense is going to be all systems go.
So the problem I have is Atlanta's defense is not good enough to keep up with their offense. So Atlanta's offense needs to be better than everybody else's defense if they want to win the Super Bowl. And they're not doing that with Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones and Hayden Hurst. That's not going to do it for them because they don't have a running back. Hayden Hurst is 27. Julio Jones is 32.
It's a 2-year window. So, you go this year, see what you got.
I think it's a great pick for either way. If they go,
I didn't say who I think they should pick yet.
If they go tight end, or you're going to go wide receiver because he's got to be different. But I just don't think it's a quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
No, I think they're going to go Pitts. I do, because I think you have Arthur Smith coming over as the old offensive coordinator with Tennessee, who did really well. You have Delaney Walker and you have A.J. Brown. So, I think that he's going to run a fantastic scheme and a very good system for these guys. I think Julio's finally going to get targeted in the red zone, which they haven't done before. So I really think that Arthur Smith can do good things for Atlanta. But the problem is, Matt Ryan.
Are you sure though?
I am sure.
Is Pitts coming in really good for Julio in the red zone?
Oh, I'm just saying if he's getting targeted. But yes, it should be because you got the middle taken up with
fun fact, Pitts never dropped an end zone target, I believe.
Oh, that's good to know.
Something like that.
He's just amazing. Even if they want to move him to wide receiver, he doesn't need to be a tight end. The guy runs like a 4-4.
He's never dropped an end zone pass.
That's really good to know. Yeah, so I think that the Atlanta Falcons are going to go with Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is also going to be a top 6 tight end in fantasy. You'll see that.
I agree.
That's now year 1, 2021, top 6, Kyle Pitts. Calling it.
We agreed.
All right, I believe you. All right, Cincinnati Bengals, number 5.
I think this one's easy. Well, actually, no, it's not.
I'll just say, according to Eric, there's no Penei Sewell anymore on his mock. So Cincinnati, I want to hear what.
I'm in the middle. I think they're both going to take one or the other. Whoever doesn't take one is definitely taking the other. But I think both between Pitts and Sewell, the Bengals and Falcons. Picks in 4 and 5. I think it's going to be those two no matter what. But it's just it depends who wants who Atlanta wants really.
Keenan, how about you? Who do you think the number 5 for the Bengals is going to be?
I'm looking at a couple of these mock drafts. Some of these guys don't even have Jamar Chase in the top 10, which is
it's interesting. Daniel Jeremiah's final mock came out. I mean, not that mattered. It was just very interesting when I was looking at his final mock too. He's got Jamar to the Dolphins. I think you and I have the same pick right here.
Yeah, Sewell, the offensive lineman. Yeah, I think you need. Oh, you have Jamar Chase, or no? Who do you have?
All day, Chase? Jamar Chase. You please your quarterback.
I mean, I said that earlier today that I think I'd go with the offensive weapon, but man, you got to protect the franchise. What's the best way to protect your franchise? By drafting the best offensive lineman. Where Atlanta, they don't really have their quarterback situation figured out, so why go offensive line? If Matt Ryan tears both his knees and can't play football again, who cares? I mean, that's a little too far, but Atlanta is not as committed as the Bengals are with Burrow.
No, they aren't as committed, but I don't think Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins is enough for him. I don't think that's enough to say, hey, we're ready to compete like we really want to do. You can get linemen in free agency. You can get linemen in the draft. This is one of the deeper linemen. So they've already come out and said that the Bengals have said that they think this lineman class is one of the deepest positions in the draft. If that's the case, you're not taking Sewell at 5. As great as that is, you're going to take Jamar Chase. You're going to give him a second.
Yeah, they're not taking Sewell at 5 if the Falcons take him at 4. Duh.
That's also true. I think that the Bengals are comfortable. They had some injuries last year. I think they're comfortable when they get healthy with doing that, and you have Jamar Chase. You give Chase there, though, too, is you give Burrow another weapon that he can release that ball even quicker if he needs to. I think that it's going to be very helpful. You're going to have a healthier mix, and you're just going to have a healthier team in general. And I think, like I said, you please the quarterback. You give him Jamar Chase. Give him what he's familiar with. All right. So
I mean, I wouldn't be if I was a Bengals fan. I wouldn't be mad either way. I guess the more exciting pick is Chase.
It's the more sexy pick. Yeah, I mean, I understand Penei. Yes, you will be set with Penei left, but like we just saw Anthony Costanzo. They thought they'd be set for how long? Retired after 7 years, 8 years.
I will say something else. I will say something else that I saw today that is making me maybe change my mind a little is that the Bengals apparently offered Kenny Galladay a 1-year contract. I don't know how long ago that came out, but I just saw it today. I was like, oh, okay. Maybe they do want a wide receiver, but you just got to think with Boyd and Higgins there.
Well, here's my question. Since Antonio Sewell's still on the board for you,
Pitt.
He's not going to Dolphins. Where's he going? Is he going to slip all the way to the Lions at 7?
So either Sewell or Pitts is going to drop. One of those two are dropping. I really think so. I don't know if the Bengals will let Pitts get past 5, but at the same point, they need to go chase. So I think the Dolphins and then would be taking Kyle Pitts. That's where I currently have Pitts going is 6. So yeah, I still have Sewell. Not being picked just yet, which in that moment, maybe somebody can move up. The Dolphins have expressed they might want to move back a little bit. So, maybe the Cowboys, as we know, they might not move. Maybe they want to trade up for Sewell if he drops a little bit and they help out Dak. But yeah, I have Kyle Pitts right now going to Miami Dolphins. I think I have
Devontae Smith because I think Pitts goes to Atlanta, and I think that's a perfect player for them. They're looking for a playmaking wide receiver. I mean, they do have Will Fuller. They have Parker, and then who's the other guy that you loved last year, Antonio, and he turned out to be a bust.
Oh, Preston Williams?
Yeah, Preston Williams. But I think Devontae Smith brings
that's rude.
Yeah, Devontae Smith brings that speed that they're missing, I think. I know Will Fuller has speed, but not like Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith can be like a Tyreek Hill type of player.
I think it's a good pick because that's who I was between was actually I was between Waddle and Pitts, to be honest.
Yeah.
As much as I want Smith to go there, I think that Parker is their version of Devonta Smith, but they don't have a Waddle. They got a Will Fuller, but Will Fuller had his best year last year, and then we find out he was on PEDs. So, I mean, they got a 1-year deal with him. You get a Waddle who can be your Will Fuller, take the top off the defense. He's fantastic, had only 100-yard games in the 4 that he played last year. I think he's a really good pick, but you can't pass up on Pitts. We already said it. My man's crazy. He could be your wide receiver if you need him to. He runs a 4.4. Who do you got for the Dolphins, Eric?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Keenan there. Devonta Smith, he's my number 1 wide receiver for fantasy drafts. And I think he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver off the board. Obviously, Miami, they need to get him somebody else in there. Or they need to get Tua somebody else in there if they want him to succeed, because what they got now is just not going to cut it. If Pitts does fall, I could definitely see them taking him over Smith, but like I said, I don't think Pitts falls there, so I think they go wide receiver.
All right, that's fair. So this is where I'll have, the next pick, Detroit Lions. They have apparently expressed the most interest of moving out of the top 10 of any of those teams. That did come out today. So we could see them drop out. But right now I got Penei Sewell landing with the Detroit Lions. Number 7, he pops into their lap, so they really wind up not trading away. They have Jared Goff for at least the next 2 years, and I think they're going to try to win. They're not probably trying to finish bottom 5. And I think Sewell is going to help protect Goff and make him feel a lot more comfortable there.
Well, I think they go Chase here. They replace Galladay here. I don't think they go quarterback because I think they're going to give Goff a shot here. And I don't think they have that many playmakers besides Marvin Jones. Is Marvin Jones even on their team anymore? No, he's not. Who's their wide receivers?
They got Quintus Cephas.
Yes. So, yeah, okay. Yeah, you don't need to say anymore. They're going wide receiver. They're taking Jamar Chase here.
And I'm agreeing there. I mean, if you're not going quarterback, you have to go. I mean, what do you have? You have a running back. I mean, if Sewell does fall to them, I 100% would see them taking him. But again, I don't think he falls there. So yeah, again, you have to get a wide receiver in there to help Jared Goff.
I think they take a wide receiver even if his Sewell drops to them.
I don't know if you can. They
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be tough, man. A lot of teams, this next couple sets of teams could have some treasures coming their way, especially if 4 or 5 quarterbacks are the top 5 or 6 picks. If there's some movement going on. Speaking of movement, we just talked about the Carolina Panthers getting rid of Teddy Bridgewater to the Denver Broncos, who are picking after them. So currently, Carolina's got Sam Darnold. They got DJ Moore. Still got Robbie Anderson. CMC's coming back to be healthy. What are they doing here, Eric? Are they adding to their wide receiver core? Are they moving? They getting a quarterback to compete with Darnold?
You said we're on the Broncos, right? Sorry,
we're on the Panthers.
Panthers, you said? Sorry.
It doesn't have to be an offensive player here. I think they go cornerback. I think they go Jace Horn from South Carolina. You have that division is filled with wide receivers. You have Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Calvin Ridley, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. You need to cover these guys. So I know it's not fancy, sexy pick, but I think this is the first defensive player off the board at 8.
So who do you think they should select? If it was an offensive player?
If it was an offensive player, I think they should go quarterback, and I think Justin Fields would be perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Compete with Sam Darnold. Okay. Yeah,
I mean, they haven't picked up
quarterback.
Darnold's 5th-year option yet. I know they have till May 3rd or whatever, but if you haven't picked it up by now after that trade, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting for the board to play out?
Gotta leave all options on the table, man. Why not? Why would you put yourself in a corner if you don't have to? Because you know, I don't know. Maybe Darnold's not even a Panther at come Sunday.
I think they'll probably play it safe, and like Keenan said, probably go defense and take I'd say probably Patrick Surtain. But if they did go offense, I mean,
David Tepper is a Wall Street man. He does not want to wait for wins. He wants to get wins now.
Well, then I think the next best offensive weapon is Waddle, in my opinion.
That's exactly who they should be going for. I agree with you. That's who I have there is Jalen Waddle. Robbie Anderson is not the top off the defense player anymore. He's getting up there in age. He's quick, but Jalen Waddle can do that. Let DJ Moore work between your 10 and 20-yard throws. Let Sam Darnold play around with CMC. I agree with you, Eric. I like Jalen Waddle going to the Panthers. Keenan. That's Justin Fields. Or defense. Yeah, I know. That's true. Or Justin Fields. Okay. So Denver Broncos, did they get what they want? Justin Fields just fell to them at number 9?
This is where Fields is going, in my opinion.
I agree.
You just traded for Bridgewater, who's a perfect bridge quarterback, I guess, for
it makes perfect sense. I agree.
Yeah. Were we talking off air or were we talking during I think we're talking off air that he's
that was before.
Yeah, that Bridgewater's a perfect bridge quarterback where he is a pocket thrower, but if he needs to run, he can run. And that's what you want Justin Fields to become, a pocket thrower. And if he needs to leave the pocket and throw it down the field or run 10, 15 yards to get a first down, he can do that as well. So I think if he sits behind Bridgewater for 3 to 6 games, I want to see Fields on the field as soon as possible. But as a football fan, but yeah, if he sits behind Bridgewater for a year, I think that'd be good for him. I don't think it's going to hurt him. I mean, look what Mahomes did or what Alex Smith did, or what Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for a year.
Yeah, I have them grabbing a quarterback as well. It's not Justin Fields. I had him going up at number 2, but I'm going to be putting
number 2,
Trey Lance. I told you the Jets are going Justin Fields.
No, they're not. All right, go ahead.
So I have Trey Lance falling to Denver. They don't have to make any other moves. Teddy Bridgewater will be their beginning quarterback. As we just talked, everything you just said with Justin Fields, Trey Lance can provide those same services. And I think that John Elway really loves his big frame, man. I think that John Elway fell in love with Trey Lance, and their hope is that he's coming down to 7, he's coming down to 9. If not, they're moving up to where the Lions probably are. So I think that if it's not 9 where the Broncos get Lance, I wouldn't be surprised if they're the ones who move up and hop Carolina and get the Lions.
So where's Wilson going? If you have him going to Fields,
I have he's probably going to San Fran. So it's probably Wilson going to the Jets and Fields going to San Fran. But that's where I have Trey Lance right now, heading up to number 9 with the Broncos. So let's talk Cowboys. Actually, we can talk
Cowboys. They're going defense. Let's talk about the other 2 NFC East teams that are right behind them, the Giants and the Eagles. Both probably need a wide receiver, and both I think the Giants are probably happy with Waddle coming to them here at 11. Well, for me at least.
Yeah, you have Waddle going there. Eric, who would you have the Giants?
Honestly, I think they'll probably go I mean, in my opinion, probably go defense or offensive line. I don't think they need a wide receiver. I don't think they plan to replace Danny Dimes, but maybe if one of the quarterbacks falls, they could get spicy. But
I disagree with that. They don't need another wide receiver. Why wouldn't you give Danny Dimes another weapon to see if he's your franchise quarterback? Give him as much weapons as you can. I mean, they probably do need an offensive line because we saw how bad that offensive line played last year to start the year, and we were all worried about Barkley not having a great year unfortunately he was injured before we found out if. I mean, are you going to wait for the kid from USC, Tucker? I think his name is. That are you going to take? Is he going to solve that problem on your offensive line right now, or are you just or grab the offensive weapon for your young quarterback and see if he's actually the franchise quarterback before you have to pay him 40-50 million in a year or two?
Yeah, that's very true, man. That's very true. And I currently have Devonta Smith going to the Giants, so that would really crowd things up for them and kind of screw the Eagles over from being able to have any opportunity to get in the top 3.
Remember, the Eagles lost their last game of the season.
Yeah.
And oh no, they actually traded back. They traded back like idiots.
Traded back.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So I currently have the Eagles not getting any of those top 3 wide receivers. Devonta Smith goes.
Remember when that trade first happened, and I told you that this was going to happen to the Eagles, where they weren't going to get any of the top end offensive guys, and you were like, "Oh no, they might get Waddle. He might drop to them," and I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to regret that trade.
So part of me really wants to put Kadarius Toney to the Giants, but to have Toney going before Devonta Smith just seems insane to even say. So I can't do that. And then I can't also put Toney on the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think the Eagles might wind up getting Rashawn Slater. And they can help fill that void of Jason Peters and all the Eagles linemen that keep falling to them. But if they want to go Kadarius Toney, I think he'd be awesome. Jalen Reagor could take the top off and let Toney do his gadget things.
Is Toney projected to go that high?
No, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes top. I love Kadarius Toney, man.
I was going to say maybe I like Rashad Bateman or Elijah Moore. I'd much rather have one of them over.
There was a report that Elijah Moore was getting a lot of attention as a 5th wide receiver coming off the board.
Yeah, I like Elijah Moore too.
I think he might even go higher than that. Maybe not over the top 3.
He might go to the Chargers. I could see him going to the Chargers at 13 if they really want to add to their slot wide receivers. If not, could see the Raiders adding more, but they'll probably do that. I could see the Dolphins coming back. I gave him Pitts. So if Elijah Moore is at 18, or honestly Kadarius Toney at 18, that'd be really nice for Miami. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. I love Toney. It's kind of like Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson I fell in love with last year, and he became my number 1, pre-draft. And then Kadarius Toney is kind of doing that for me. Him and Terrace Marshall. Terrace Marshall reminds me a lot of Justin Jefferson. But Kadarius Toney, I just think whoever gets him is going to use him exactly like they need to, which it's going to be a lot of short throws, getting him in space, a lot of yards after catch, and just let him run straight and throw some deep balls if you need to. I think he can do a lot with the route running. He can improve a lot on that, obviously, but he's great off the ball. I think there's a lot. I'll stop ranting on Kadarius Toney. Sorry. Who didn't say their Eagles pick yet?
I don't know who they're gonna take. I think they're gonna hate that they traded back so far. So it doesn't really matter what they take.
Well, like I said, I have.
Do we think New England trades up to get a quarterback, or we think Jimmy G's going there?
I don't know, man. That Jimmy G's spicy. I mean, it's not something that's kind of, I guess, surprising because we talked about that. A lot of people have as a joke for the Jimmy G going to New England. But if they feel like they've tried to probably make offers to move up and people aren't budging, that's going to be your next best route is Jimmy G.
Do you see a rumor that's going around saying that teams don't want to help Belichick out? They don't want to give him another quarterback. They don't want to trade with him.
I mean, would you think about it? I mean, It's just, I guess, probably like the NBA and LeBron. If everybody had a shot to go against LeBron, they would.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's tough. It's tough to watch that dominance happen again, especially when Brady just left and did that. So it's like, man, no. I think that's giving respect on Belichick, though, and letting him know it's not just Brady.
One more thing before, I don't know if we're wrapping up or not. Running back. When is the first running back taken, and who is it?
So, Eric, let me have you answer this one first.
So, I think that my number 1 fantasy running back is not going to be picked first, but I think with all the hype with Pittsburgh, I think it's going to be Najee Harris. But
Who's
yeah,
your first number one ranked running back?
Javonte Williams. I got Williams, then I got Najee Harris, and then ETN. But with all the hype with Pittsburgh, apparently they want Harris bad, so I it makes perfect sense. You know, they're obviously going all in, and they need to upgrade that running game. And I think it'd be a really good fit there. So if he goes there, though, he might, depending on where Williams goes. I mean, Harris might be my number one because, you know, Pittsburgh is just a great spot for any running back.
Tony?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough. I keep going back and forth because if it's not Pittsburgh, like the next shot you really have is like the Jets or the Bills. And Pittsburgh has 2 picks, let's not forget. So they could at 24. That's why I think almost necessarily it's going to be Najee Harris probably with Pittsburgh. I think the Bills are going to be the second team that's going to be drafting a running back. So we'll have 2 running backs, I think, that are going to go in the first round. And I think the Bills are going to pick Travis Etienne.
Well, I want the Bills to take Etienne. Excuse me, I can never pronounce his last name, but I think Miami at 16 goes running back.
Really,
Myles Gaskin's a great story. You know me. I love Myles Gaskin. That's what
I don't know why I said Pittsburgh had 2 picks. By the way, I'm stupid.
Miami has 2 picks.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
So I love Myles Gaskin. I told you guys last year how much I loved him, but I don't think he's their guy. Okay, I think they need. I think he's a great story, great player, but they need that home run hitter. And Gaskin's good at catching the ball out of the backfield too, but I think ETN would just be perfect fit for that offense.
I agree. Actually, I think they do try and they draft a running back somewhere in the draft. I just don't know if teams are going to be willing to just wait on a running back this year. Just with how the NFL seems to be loving these,
it's
running back by committee.
It's a circle.
Like a circle.
Yeah.
But at 16, it is possible.
Yeah.
I just don't know if they're going to be willing to pass up, depending on who falls there. I just don't know if they're going to be willing to pass up.
Every 5 years, it changes. It goes from to the workhorse running back to the committee to one running back getting most of the carries, and now we're back to that. Teams actually spending money on running backs and spending draft capital on running backs.
I think this year too is you don't have the all around, like you don't have the Zeke Elliott, you don't have the Saquon Barkleys. I don't even know if you might have a Josh Jacobs with Najee Harris, but that's where you might be hitting a ceiling at. I think that might be the issue though, Eric, is why I think maybe people aren't. Why you might only see one running back is
if Harris goes to Pittsburgh, I think he's going to be much better than Josh Jacobs is.
Well, we've seen one running back go off the board in the first round last year, and it was the last pick in the draft.
Yeah,
so it's not uncommon for it to happen, but I think this year is the first chance in a while that we might see 2 running backs come off the board in the first round.
Yeah, and I really think that especially, and it's probably gonna be the latter 20. But if Miami doesn't wind up going running back, which I think they're gonna go defense, but if they don't wind up doing a running back, Pittsburgh's gonna get Harris, and then I think that the Bills will probably wind up grabbing a running back too for getting those 5th-year options. Now let me just ask you with quarterbacks then, because we didn't hit. Oh, we did get the 5th one drafted, didn't we? Oh, yeah. So our 5 were done by top. No, so who's the 5th quarterback?
No, we all had different ones. I mean, Mac Jones, I think, is the one that fell for everybody.
Yeah, we didn't have him go anywhere yet.
Lawrence was the number 1. We didn't even talk about him because he went to Jacksonville. We all know.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's the only wide receiver or quarterback we didn't talk about.
So where do you both have Mac Jones going? Because currently my mock doesn't have Mac picked yet as of pick 12.
Well, before this Garoppolo news, I thought it was going to be New England, but now I don't know.
I think 49ers. It's too much coming out of there about Mac Jones and Shanahan. There's a story today that Shanahan thinks that. Let me see if I can find it here. Shanahan thinks that Mac Jones can be rookie of the year.
I agree, though, but now, I really thought there is no way they need a smokescreen, but I guess Antonio does make a little bit of sense. It makes a little bit of sense Salah went over to the Jets, but
I told you guys they knew they talked to Salah. He's like, "Yo, man, are you gonna get rid of Darnold? What's going on? Who do you want?" He's like, "We want Zach Wilson." All right, cool. Guess what? I love the hell out of Mac Jones so much because you should look into Mac Jones over Zach Wilson, and then they'll draft Mac Jones, and then guess what? Now
you're overthinking it.
You have San Francisco getting Lance or getting Zach Wilson, and Shanahan's just he kills us for the rest of the.
So how does that turn into Fields getting drafted there?
Which part?
You have Fields going to the Jets.
Oh yeah, I think the Jets have a smoke screen with Wilson. I don't know why they would need
smoke screens everywhere.
Smoke screens everywhere.
I don't know how you pass on Fields. I don't know how you pass
but
on
it
Fields.
Happens,
put pedigrees against him and Wilson.
He's not that special.
It happens all the time, though. Like I know like it doesn't happen. It happens literally every draft. It's just
you had the Cleveland Browns, like not against the Browns, anything rude, but like that's what they were doing. That was tradition that they may have had. That they finally got it right, though. They got Baker, and they made the right decision. Don't know though that if Baker was still a 4-year player. We'll see. You're right. We'll see. But again, Fields 3 years has a great pedigree. Did fantastic. You have Zach Wilson, who has a very iffy 2 years.
Oh, time out. Were you guys just asking if the Browns made the right choice?
Well, he thinks they made the right choice.
No, obviously. I mean, Josh Allen was on the Bills, so no, they didn't make the right choice.
I understand that, but they're still in the playoffs. They're still projected to win their division. Anyways, tangent. Let's bring us back. Justin Fields is great. He has so many great qualities.
No one's saying he's not great, though.
But that's my problem is like, yes, the Jets could – I guess I'm talking myself and saying, well, if the Browns would take Baker over Darnold, then sure, I guess the Jets can take,
Justin Fields is really good, not great.
All right, now we're nitpicking.
That's what you got to do now. When you have Trevor Lawrence going number 1 and it's a given, that's all you can do now is nitpick. Like, for example, BYU has North Dakota State, they have like a tackle going in the first round or two. So if Trey Lance now had a really good tackle going, then
where did Tom Brady go to college?
Michigan.
Where did Peyton Manning go to college?
Tennessee.
What are you trying to
shit? I'm trying to find someone really good that went to a bad college.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, Miami, Ohio. You got Brett Favre.
Where'd Josh Allen go?
There you go. Yeah. All right. Now we're definitely. All right, guys. So we basically got through the top 12 there. We excluded the Cowboys because they're probably not really doing much on an offensive scale. So let me just ask you a couple more questions. So wide receivers, do you think over under 5.5 are going in the first round?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to say over. No, I'm going to say under at 5.
I'm going to say under. I'll stick with 5 too.
You guys got to listen. You guys got to remember, there's gonna be a run on defensive players.
There is, yeah, 100%.
Not to the final 12 probably.
But I think it's going to go
Antonio. You're
offensive heavy. I think it's going to go offensive heavy and a couple wide receiver. At least 4 wide receivers could come off in the top 12 picks, like legitimately. So then, if you think by the end of the draft, I mean, 2 more pretty easily could. I'm going to stay over. I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I'm hitting the over too. I think there could be potential for 7. Like I told you, I mean, there's a lot of good talented wide receivers coming in, and I think with hearing a lot of the offensive lineman class being pretty deep, we're probably going to see a bit of trades. I don't know. I like the 7. I think that's going to wrap up a lot for
any dynasty market trades lately, or has things been quiet on all fronts?
Oh, I don't know. What did we? Eric just made a trade today. Actually,
I just made a trade today. Actually,
yeah. Let's hear it, and we can wrap it up.
So yeah, all right, yeah. So I'm all in this league. So I'm all in.
You're all in to lose to me.
Yeah. you never win this league, so it's all right.
I'm cursed.
But,
I'm cursed.
No, I got my team stacked though. What I got: Josh Allen, Cam Akers, Miles Sanders, Devontae Adams, Mark Andrews. So those was my base. And then I had 104, 108, 110, and Joe Mixon. So I traded Joe Mixon, 108, 110, and then a third next year for Derrick Henry and Keenan Allen. And I'm going for a W. I hope so.
So breaking that, you had Derrick Henry and Keenan Allen.
That's who I got.
Joe Mixon, 108 and 110.
And a third in 2022.
And a third in 2022. Okay, see, when I broke that down, I saw that, and I was like, all right, I think Keenan Allen at 110, that makes a lot of sense. And then you do Mixon 108 and your 22 third for Henry. I think that can kind of get pretty close to an even trade.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a good trade for you.
You're trying to win, but you're relying a lot on Joe Mixon there.
Yeah, you putting some shares in. I don't mind.
I traded Mixon away.
Oh, you traded Mixon away.
I received Derrick Henry and Keenan Allen.
You got Henry.
Yeah,
he's trying to get some more firepower.
Yeah, whatever.
Not enough though.
On top of that, I still have pick 104, and I have 2 firsts next year. So
you traded 1-4 and 1-8?
No, I still have 104. I traded 108 and 110.
Oh, I was going to offer Skip 1-1 for 104 and 108.
Dude,
No, you weren't. All right, everybody.
I would have done that trade forever ago. Don't even say that.
That's going to wrap it up for us. Everybody, enjoy your first round. We'll probably be back here to have some post-draft rankings. Probably get our top 10 or our top 12 positional rankings next week going. We are ready to talk rookies. I'm excited. There's been a lot of dull moments in this offseason, but I'm going to let Keenan close it out.
Me?
It's you today, buddy.
Me? Well, thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys listening. I already said that. You can't put me on a spot like that. We'll see you guys. Enjoy your draft, and we'll see you guys next week. Mafia out.
Mafia out, everybody.